guest today is Victoria Fox. Hey.
Hello.
Good to hear your voice here.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Celebrating Easter with everybody.
Happy
you know.
Easter.
I know. Feel like we need some eggs and baskets and stuff around, you know. But instead we got beautiful instruments made out of exotic woods, and you know, that's almost as good as Easter eggs there too. So Victoria, tell us a little bit about kind of, you know, what you've got going here. You have your own kind of place in the music world here. I always think of it as a special place when I think of the ukulele. But tell me how you discovered that little guy there.
Well, a friend, I'm a touring singer-songwriter, and I used to play guitar for 8 years. And back in 2003, a local musician in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I'm originally from,
Packer country.
Yeah. He gave me a ukulele, and I just started writing on it, and it became the highlight of the Victoria Vox show, and then slowly just kind of took over the set, and the guitar got weaned out, and now I haven't written on guitar since 2007, so it's pretty much all ukulele.
So what is it about the instrument that endears you to it? You know?
I always say less is more, I think, and it has 4 strings, and there's really not a whole lot to get in the way of a song, and I think it just simplifies things, and it, as a songwriter, it helps in making the melody stronger, the rhythm stronger, and it's also kind of percussive, so you can actually do quite a lot with it.
Yeah, and speaking of doing a lot, you've got this simplified instrument there of your dreams, but then you've complicated it. You've got all kinds of foot pedals on the floor. It's
Yeah.
like the biggest rig I've ever fit in this room here.
Yeah, I have. Last year, I did a project where I wrote a song a week called the 52 Song Project.
A song a week.
A song a week for the year. So, and I successfully completed it. But through that writing process, I started experimenting a little bit with my loop pedal.
What's a loop?
Well, a loop pedal, what it does is it records what I'm playing live, and then it loops it around again so that I can play something else
Keeps playing
on
it again
top
and
of
again.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, when in my songwriting, I would record maybe like a chord progression or a riff into the loop pedal, hit play, and it would just keep playing, and I would let it go for hours. And I'd go do some laundry, maybe the dishes.
Let it sink in.
And just kind of wait, I would wait for this melody to appear.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how I kind of started getting into that.
Yeah.
But I have then an echo pedal, and then I have a bass pedal, so it makes my ukulele go down an octave.
Makes you into a ukulele
A
orchestra.
bass. A uke bass.
Yeah. It's an oxymoron, or is that the right term for the opposites? I don't know. Uke bass. But there are different size ukuleles, right?
Yes, there are actually 4 different sizes of ukuleles: the soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone. And the concert, soprano, and tenor can be all tuned the same, which is like this, or it'll have a high G, which sounds more like the Hawaiian ukulele.
It does sound Hawaiian. I
And
feel like
so
I'm there.
this
all of
one
a
has the
sudden.
low
Wow.
G, so it's more like that. But a baritone is pretty much like a 4-string guitar. So if you take the low E and A strings off of a guitar, that's a baritone ukulele.
Uh-huh. Well, it's such a beautiful sound, a rich sound there. You want to play a tune for us?
Sure,
I gotta have it.
I'll do one for you with this loop pedal here. This is called Out the Back Door. So now I have that looping through. I was born to tiptoe, in and out of trouble. Wouldn't do what I was told. Do I enjoy the heat below? When I was a child, no one would notice. I took what wasn't mine, but I'd escape before telling a lie. Out the back door, out the back door. And I'd go out the back door, out the back sneaking past the guards. I'll admit you'll get a charge. I'll tell you what to do. Once the plan's in motion, but you gotta follow through. It's the one rule before making a move. Out the back door, out the back door. You go out the back door, out the back door. Hat tip down, collar up, soft-soled shoes in the shadows. Keep it down or make a move. Okay, go now, run for it. Hat tip down, collar up, soft-soled shoes in the shadows. Keep it down or make a move. Okay, go and keep it secret. Here's another way to go under the radar while the boss man is away. Here's your chance to make a play at the factory. Don't get too greedy. Just pocket what you need and go out the other employees. Out the back door, out the back door. And we'll go out the back door, out the back door. And we'll go out the back door, out the back door.
It really is kind of fun watching you play because, you know, this other instrumental, this other part comes in and there's nobody there playing. It's
Yeah.
just-
So there I had like a little bass ostinato action going and
yeah.
do this thing.
You get some textures, different kinds.
Yeah.
And, also, I can really hear that percussive thing you're talking about too. You know, you can kind of slap that thing around a little bit.
Yeah, I find the ukulele, you can do so many different styles so easily. It can be, you know, rocking, or it can be really, you know, jazz, or it could be really soft and beautiful. And I felt like I got so much more out of this instrument than I did with the guitar. And that was just me, but...
And then you sometimes add the, you know, like the kazoo in there too. Or,
Oh, the mouth trumpet, yes.
Mouth trumpet. Or no, that's not a kazoo then. That's just making the sound. Yeah, the trumpet. Yeah. So you got a little kind of thing going that people look for with that, and yeah. So you were telling me earlier when we were just talking about you know, having some kind of a deal with the companies that make these instruments too. When we're talking about the wood and where it comes from, and it's some people might know about koa wood, but just in a nutshell, tell people kind of how ukuleles have always been made and then what's happening now.
Well, the ukulele actually originates from the...
It's not the uke, it's a
well,
uk.
they say uke or ukulele.
Ukulele.
And it actually came from the Portuguese island of Madeira. And in 1879, it was brought over on a merchant ship to Hawaii.
Have a Madeira.
Yeah, and so it was originally called a brigina. And so it's very much like the size of a ukulele, but it had metal strings like an acoustic folk guitar. But it was like a guitar, but a full octave higher. So it was very high tension. And I'm guessing that the strings rusted at some point on the journey, or once it was sitting at the islands. And so they're probably like, well, let's put fishing line on that on the brigina. And then with the tension, they would have to lower it a little bit, which is now why the ukulele is tuned like a fourth down.
So the fishing line was now it's a filament. It's maybe it was cat gut or something.
Yeah, now
originally.
it's like, you know, there's special fluorocarbon ukulele strings.
Really strong, but it has a real soft and warm sound.
Yeah, and so it's called ukulele, which uku means flea, and lele means jumping. And so they thought that was the right name for it, as they found that their fingers were kind of jumping around the strings. And
Yeah, and of course, you know, you can't tell the whole history in a minute or two, but there was a time when the ukulele just pretty much took over the whole United States. It was so popular because it was championed at the World's Fair, I think in Chicago, and so everybody was buying these little boxed instruments for their kids or whatever. You know, every household had one. You could just whip it out. It's a
Yeah.
lot lighter than a piano, you know.
I mean, they're very portable and they're relatively inexpensive. You know, when you're thinking of like an instrument, of a piano or even a guitar. So ukulele was once they started making more of them, and it was and that unfortunately that's also where it gets its toy-like reputation.
Yeah.
Is because they are so inexpensive, or can be so inexpensive, and it's not playable really.
Yeah, I saw one in a window at a music store in Chestertown the other day for $40. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not what you were talking
You get what
about.
you pay
that's
for.
that's not what we were talking about.
Yeah.
You were talking about them being like $6,000.
Yeah, there are some that are very pricey.
Yeah.
And they're depending on whether it's handmade versus made in China. That's one thing, or machine made. And
But this one here is beautiful.
This is a handmade ukulele. Ukulele from Washington State, and it's myrtle wood, which is native to Washington.
All these colors is beautiful.
Yeah, and this is a newer one, so it will darken a little bit as it ages.
So you want to play another one?
Sure.
All right. Victoria Fox is our guest in the studio here on 103.1 RNR, and Victoria's got a concert coming up. We're going to talk about in a couple of minutes, but it's at the Creative Alliance. When is it?
That's on Friday, April 5th.
All right, we'll talk more about that in a minute. What are you going to play?
This is called Remember the Music, for those forgetful folks out there.
You're listening to Sunday Brunch on 103.1 RNR, live artist interview in the studio for your Easter Sunday.
I don't recall where I left my keys. My hat, I could swear it was here. I write myself notes, I find myself losing them. Clearly my memory's not clear. I tie a string around my finger, but I can't remember before. Did I turn off the stove or leave on the iron? Did I ever lock the front door? But there's always a thread of melody in my head. Oh, with all the things I forget, I remember the music. I see it now, the band was playing. I held you close in my arms. We swayed into the night like we were the only ones. We were the brightest of stars. I couldn't tell you what you were wearing, the day or the month or the year. And we whispered words, sweet and endearing, but they've long gone from my ears. And there's always a thread of melody in my head. Oh, with all the things I forget, I remember the music. When I hear that song, I start singing along. The love that we share, it ain't going nowhere. 'Cause there's always a thread of melody in my head. Oh, with all the things I forget, I remember the music. I remember the music. I remember the music.
That's a nice song. You can start the day or end the day with that one.
Thank
Maybe.
you.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Remember the music.
Yeah, and is that one, and the other one available on some records you get going on?
Yes, they're
Like
off of my brand new
Brand new.
CD.
Brand new, yeah.
It's keyed Key,
I got a copy
K-E-Y.
right here in my hand.
And I have on the cover I have skeleton keys. There's one sticking out of my ear. one over my eye and one over my mouth, and people are always like, "That's really interesting." And
Yeah, especially the one in your ear. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm worried about that.
wind
one.
it up. But it's kind of about unlocking the senses. And as I went into this year of 52 to write 52 songs, that just kind of opening up and letting music in and out, and finding, whether it's finding keys to happiness, love, or success, that it's, I found keys to songs. And so there's all these kinds of keys.
Yeah, well, you probably would have been easier to do 5 senses than 52 weeks, you know, twice. You did a whole 52 weeks of covers too, right?
Yep, in 2011 I learned and memorized 52 cover songs. And then in 2012 I upped the ante with 52 originals.
So that's called cutting your chops, That's like get down, force yourself, with a pattern or with a regiment, and, you come out the other side really an accomplished and better player.
Yeah, and I think as an artist, it's necessary. It's necessary to push yourself, and I think the most important thing is to always keep creating. And if you're not creating something new or being inspired filling that artistic well, it's just kind of, you can become stagnant or complacent. And
the Beatles used to put out 2 albums a year. That's the way it was done back in the day.
Do it.
Now it's like every 3 years people are doing. I'm thinking, where are they? Their careers slipping by, and they're doing 3-4 years. But we digress. Tell us about the show, and then we'll have you play another quick one.
So I'm playing at the Creative Alliance in Baltimore on Friday, April 5th.
What a fun place.
The show starts at 8 p.m., and there's a really fantastic Seattle-based swing ragtime guitar player, Del Rey, and she'll be opening up the show. And but I'm really excited about the CD release party for me. I'll be having, there's lots of, on the new record, there's string arrangements and horn parts actually that I played with real trumpet, but I will have a full string quartet with me at the show, which
wow.
I've never performed these songs with a string quartet live, so it's very exciting for me. To hear it that way. So
sounds like a fun show.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for one more. What do you got?
All right, I'll do one called Sweetest Melodies. Search you out, pay no attention to the crowd. A sea of bodies, they don't mean anything. I'm drawn to your sound, the sweetest melodies are running through your veins, and every word I ever heard you say comes out as song to me. We've only time and every intention to get it right. Here comes the interlude between our solitudes, ready to harmonize. The sweetest melodies are running through your veins, and every word I ever heard you say comes out as song to me. comes out as song to me. The sweetest melodies are running through your veins, and every word I ever heard you say comes out as song to me. You are a song to me.
1031 WRNR couldn't have a more beautiful Happy Easter song than all of those three. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks, Michael, for
We
having me.
appreciate it. And once again, the show is coming up at the Creative Alliance
Creative Alliance on Friday.
this coming Friday night with the string quartet and the trumpet.
Should be having real trumpet too.
Yeah, well, I hope you come back and see us again
I
sometime.
would love to.
It's just a pure pleasure. 1031 WRNR, and you know that.